fixed us a lunch and a water bottle,
Yeah.
saddled our horses, taken our dogs, and we rode all the way to the prairie
Yeah.
while it was daylight. We got to the prairie, we sat down, we eat our lunch, and then we turned the dogs loose, and the dogs struck. I had two, and Charlie Ferguson had two. Had 4 hounds.
Uh-huh.
Well, 3 of them went one way and 1 went the other way. We followed the 3, and they had a coon. They treed a coon up a tree on a creek bank. So we shot the coon out, and then my good dog, the ranger, he wasn't there. And we listened, and he was barking in the other direction from where we come back into the timber. So we turned around with our horses, and we rode there, and then them other 3 dogs picked up the trail, and they went. And they treed. Well, when we rode up to the tree, the dogs left. There was nothing up the tree. And then the dogs hit the trail, and the ranger was leading them, and they went on, and they treed again. Well, when we got there, nothing on the tree. Well, then we knew that it was not a coon, it was a bobcat. We thought it was a bobcat, because they would tap. What they do, they go up a tree away, and they jump off and run off. That's Martin dog. So we knew it was a cat. And then them dogs got to moving, they threw some brush, and we couldn't ride through, so we had to go around. We knew that bottom. We'd go around, by that time we could barely hear them dogs barking. They'd tap again, and they'd leave. We followed them until finally they treed solid. We could just hear them tree barking. We rode up there, and when we rode up, all 4 was under that tree with their heads up looking, and that old big cat was on the lower limbs, hair standing straight up on his neck and his mouth open. And Lord, wasn't no bobcat. I had a box of 22 bullets, shorts, and a single shot 22 rifle. Melvin got in there. And I got one out, and I told Robert Farmer, I handed to him, I said, Robert, you give me some bullets as I shoot. He taken them. I shot that cat, and the cat jumped when I hit it straight up that tree to another limb up top. He handed me a bullet, I put it in that rifle, and shot him the 2nd time. Went up higher on that old big elm tree. 4 times I shot that cat. It was pretty far up to the top by then. And I hit it up then where it jumped out. And when it jumped out, it jumped kind of at an angle to the ground. And Charlie was shining with his carbide light, and I was shining. No, I was doing the shooting, Robert was shining me. And when that cat hit the ground, 1 or 2 of them dogs grabbed it. And that big cat grabbed them dogs, and I had to take my rifle and get in between them dogs there. And it had them dogs was howling for their life, 2 of them. He had the claws in the one, and his mouth on the other one. And I just put the rifle between its eyes and pulled the trigger. And then it turned them dogs loose, but they still had to wrestle with it. And when they got through, them dogs, we had to sit down and rest them dogs. They would give out. They just flopped down on the ground, bleeding. 2 of them were just bleeding and something off. And taking that old big cat, me and Robert, and throwed it behind the saddle on my horse. I was riding a good horse, and he killed any kind of dead animal with spook. Throwed him across that, and his front paws was touching the ground, and his back paws and tipping the ground on the other side of the horse, hanging out. Big old long, there's a female. Long tail, about like that. We rode to the house and I woke my dad up. He couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But when we, after that cat jumped out of that tree and it was dead, then we didn't know where we were at in that bottom. 7,000 acres back there. And I said, hey, where are we at, Charlie? Charlie Ferguson knew the ground. Robert did too. They lived there longer than I had. And he said, Robert said, let's listen for them compressors. They had two compressors in a tin building on the river, on the Heidenbach, where they got them deer now. And they were pretty loud. And then all of a sudden we could hear, puff, 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 right in. And Rob said, heck, we're right behind the peace break. He said, we're right behind the house, not far. And sure enough, when we started riding that direction, we wasn't far from that old farm place, that big white house where we lived. Robert lived there then. We lived in the bottom. Robert and my sister lived in that big white house.
So, what'd you do with the cat then? You took him home and
we took it home and my daddy skinned it out, and he didn't have no kind of board big enough, so he nailed that skin to the wall on the barn. Let it dry out, and I don't know what he ever done with it. He kept it, he wanted it.
Uh-huh.
But that was some cat.